Where did this woman go? Now, I'm going to do a quick reaction video to Bobbi Althoff, I guess. This woman always struck me as very weird, right? And there's a video I'm going to react to that basically talks about her falling off and her podcast not doing so good. So let's check it out.
Bobbi Althoff's really good podcast started extremely strong, gaining millions of views with unique celebrity interviews. However, in just a year and a half, her viewership has basically flatlined.
Real quick, I want to say something. That's what made a lot of us think that she was a plant, because she came out strong in the game with a bunch of big namers, y'all, for real. And I'm gonna keep stopping and going on the reaction. If you don't like that kind of reaction, I don't know what to tell you. That's how I'm gonna do it.
With almost 300,000 people agreeing, I've never seen an industry plant fall off harder than she did. Her career began on TikTok in 2021, making dry, sarcastic content on the topic of being a mother. She'd make only 26 videos before beginning the Really Good podcast, to which she'd adapt her dry, sarcastic style.
And the worst part about this woman, I'm going to be completely honest, and I never liked this about her. She basically, it looks like, well, she got divorced, and basically looks like she left her husband and her kids to be a influencer or content creator. Horrible. Horrible.
I think we look alike. Kind of, but not really. A little. You're like me in a different font.
The snippet quickly racked up almost 10 million views. The style was an instant success. This entire interview is like the calmest argument in history, and I love it. The snippets from her next episode went equally viral.
The clips did really, really well on TikTok. So I was like, okay, I guess I have something here.
But it was the episode with Funny Marco that completely changed everything. Because not only did the segment again pull crazy numbers, but the full episode gained over 5 million views without a single hate comment anywhere in sight. It's rare that two people I've never heard of make me laugh for an hour straight. This was special. This is hilarious. Marco has found the white woman version of himself. This should be a permanent duo. This is just the most cross-cultural, funny, awkward humor. People loved the honest branding of new episode whenever I can get someone to agree to let me interview them, the next of which being a very important person.
My video with Marco went very viral. Like, very viral. Then Drake liked one of the videos I had uploaded, and he followed me.
Bobbi therefore tried to get him on.
I'm gonna shoot my shot to Drake. So I was like, when are you gonna come on my podcast?
And he
said,
game
yeah,
right away.
he was ready to do it.
Landing Drake as her 4th ever podcast guest. From an entertainment standpoint, the episode was basically perfect. Not only had she landed Drake, who never does podcasts, but she'd done so in a funny, intimate setting, whilst keeping it calm and relaxed, to the extent that people thought they were just old friends.
The fact that you were so calm.
Real quick, though. I mean, how does that look, a married woman laying in bed with another man? First of all, big red flag, right? It's a no-go for me with my wife. That would never happen, right? Letting her do that. But they said that these two had a relation together. I don't know if this clip's going to touch on it, but they said that later on Drake unfollowed her. Or basically, they stopped talking, or she took down the video. I forgot exactly what. But there is rumors that her and Drake, whatever his name is, messed around.
Next to Champagne Poppy, because if I was in a bed next to Drake, I would be freaking out.
It therefore gained 10 million views in only 2 weeks, and added 700,000 subscribers to Bobbi's total count. However, as summarized by a tweet reading, Drake giveth and Drake taketh away, Bobbi's interview with Drake began to ruin her reputation. During the podcast, Bobbi had asked,
Am I your type?
I do it.
Thank you.
And when Drake said that Bobbi should get with his friend, she seemed kind of interested.
If I could hook you up with anyone, it'd be my dog Smigs.
Smigs?
Smigs. Smiley.
Can you tell me about Smiley?
Let me show you a picture of him.
Mm-hmm. Is he well known, or are you just a friend of yours?
The Funny Marco interview had a similar interaction.
Are you hitting on me?
You're not my type.
What's your type?
With Bobbi stating she started the podcast for the following reason.
To have a way to meet people, and the podcast, I was like, I wish I could have collaborate with other people.
Meeting new people likely wasn't sinister, but flirting with famous musicians seemed to annoy her husband, who filed for divorce only 6 days after she recorded the podcast with Drake. To make matters worse, Bobbi also admitted,
I flew all the way here
You did. I really do appreciate
on my
it.
daughter's first birthday
You missed your daughter's first birthday.
to be here.
Regret that you'll never be able to undo.
Yeah.
Horrible parenting.
showing she was kind of ditching her family for social media fame.
Is it kind
My bad. I did not know that part.
of strange to anyone else that this woman who is married with children is constantly asking during these interviews with these rappers if basically they would go out with her, if basically they would sleep with her, if they like her?
She confirmed the divorce in a TikTok post, with comments stating celebrity status always ruins the best things in life. On Reddit, people stated, she got famous and he stayed the same. Few marriages survived that, whilst the rumors likely didn't help. Did Bobbi Althoff cheat with Drake quickly became a mainstream narrative.
I'm gonna be honest, and I've said it before, and I've alluded to it on my platform. Like, is it worth blowing up, getting the clout and fame, and losing the relationship with your spouse, right? And I've contemplated this actual theory or this thought process because it's like every big time, content creator you see, they go through some kind of trials and tribulations and they end up getting divorced somehow, right? So I think about that myself, right? I don't want to lose my wife or my kids, to be a big namer. Now, I had to pull myself from the house, my last day off to come make some content, and I don't rush back here. I don't want to be back here in my studio really making content. On my days off, I want to spend time with my family. I like to do this full time, but like I said, I'll be a fool to not acknowledge the fact that many people that blow up making content end up losing their families. Wow.
Suggesting a conspiracy was when Bobbi deleted the podcast, with Drake and Bobbi both unfollowing each other on Instagram. Dave Portnoy from Barstool Sports therefore sent her a text. "My girlfriend says you hooked up with Drake and got divorced. I am saying that is not true." Bobbi replied, "I'm not commenting publicly, but off the record, you're right, that is not true." She'd share the text to her story, adding, "I did not want to do this podcast in the first place, and now so much negativity is coming from it. I'm going to leave it alone after this, but this is the uncensored DM between Dave and I, although despite the
Why would you put someone's DMs on a story or post it, man? That's something else. I ain't gonna lie, I'll be going back and forth with the trolls and the haters, and I put them on blast and put them on there. But if some big name like this Dave guy, I know he's pretty big. If he inboxes you, you're gonna put him on blast like that? Wow.
Denying the rumors the narrative was set, Bobbi Althoff left her husband to thot around with rappers.
Would you date someone that looks like me? Because there's just a person
What does that mean?
like looks exactly like me. They have a twin.
Maybe.
If I had a twin,
Why does she keep asking these dudes this question, y'all?
would you date them?
She was like cool and
The damage this did to Bobbi's image could be seen on her husband's Instagram, with comments reading, "Sorry that your ex sold you out for clout and fame," after which everything Bobbi did became some kind of drama. For example, she'd do a podcast with Lil Yachty, with people calling her ungrateful after she said this.
I walked into his house and it was
kinda
super
like
awkward because
those, though.
he's really kind of awkward. He didn't even say hi to me. He's just sitting there with his two assistants, and then he comes up, he's like, "Oh hi," gives me a half hug, and I'm just like, "Hi," then goes back to his spot, and I'm like, "Dude, I don't even want to do this." I'm texting my friend "Ashley, I need to leave. This is so awkward. I don't want what am I doing here?"
She wants to make awkward content and then puts Yachty on blast.
Right? And then I've heard the critique of her that she speaks a certain way amongst the white folks, and then she talks a certain way amongst the brothers. Let me know if you think that's interesting, or if you think that's true or not from watching her talk.
Shaking my head. Gave her a platform and now she's shitting on y'all. See what happens? People then claimed that her fast rise to fame was orchestrated by her management company,
I'm pretty sure somebody at WME started help pulling the strings to set all this in motion.
who also managed some of the people who appeared on Bobbi's show.
Well, you got a great agent, and you got a great agency, and you got great guests.
Bobbi simply trolled the
Damn, I forgot Mark Cuban. She interviewed that lame wood. Hear what he just said? Yeah, it ain't that easy, y'all. You don't just blow up overnight. Now, let's be honest. Sometimes you do, but for the most part, it's a long ride to the top if you ever get there.
claims, but there were other inconsistencies. For example, she constantly claimed that she was broke
People think I'm joking about being in debt. I'm not. I put every penny I had into this podcast.
and told Mark Cuban this,
I don't have any money
None?
at all. I have debt, actually.
You have debt? How much debt do you have?
$20,000 of debt.
then further added in her Rick Glassman podcast.
Every time a credit card maxes out, I have to
Maybe
switch
the
to another.
twins.
I have 2 cards maxed out right now, so hoping to pay them off soon.
However, people realized she spent $500 on Chloe sandals. She is not broke, she is broken. Also noting that her husband was a millionaire who had 170,000 students who'd bought his $43 course. Eventually, Bobbi also revealed that the podcast wasn't serious.
So when you interview these people, you're not Bobbi necessarily.
No, yeah, I'm just a really dry person.
Deleting more of the magic that first made her interesting. We mentioned that when she first interviewed Marco, there were no negative comments. However, 3 months later when Reddit asked thoughts on Bobbi Althoff, there wasn't a single positive comment. Annoying ASF and not funny at all. I can't stand her, don't find her funny, and find it odd that rappers are always her targets to pick on like she's better than them. Gives me the ick. I watched a few of her interviews. I just don't find her funny or charismatic enough to pull off the shtick. I can see why she's popular though. This kind of awkward cringe humor is having a moment.
That's what I said. I didn't think she was, good at podcasting whatsoever. I ain't gonna lie, Not that I was jealous of her, but damn, seeing these big numbers and all this, and I'm like, what's so good about this woman? I watched a little bit of content. I ain't gonna lie. One of her clips got me a couple of million on TikTok. Salute her. I made a couple grand off Bobbi, but I never saw nothing that was so awesome or insightful or, she was such an awesome podcaster, y'all. I never saw that whatsoever. Now, there was a stick. She acted like a character and it was going back and forth. It was good for little clips, but for sitting down and listening to a whole pod, I couldn't do it.
Only 4 days after that Reddit thread, it was reviewed as the not-so-really good podcast, which stated the content itself is boring. The episodes also lack direction and a central theme, probably because they only consist of small talk. The podcast fails to deliver anything substantial or thought-provoking. Instead, it provides a glimpse into how celebrities behave in casual settings, which may seem intriguing to some, but ultimately fail to engage me. Another person said that Bobbi's podcast sadly points out how real hip-hop journalism has been practically erased, while even funny Marco began to critique her show.
With me, it was like, I think you're funny, Marco, but let me learn about you. Like, trying to figure me out. But now it's like the interviews, I think they're like, she's trying to shit on people. And then when I watched the interview, I was like, damn, that was pretty bad.
As mentioned, she was plain disrespectful during her podcast with Offset, leading him to respond with similar energy.
You need a little bit of seasoning. You ain't got no seasoning, man. You got a plain piece of chicken just on the thing, you pull it off, and then you serve the dish.
It seemed this was where many people quit watching Bobbi's show, aided by full podcast episodes that were just promoting products. In the process, she'd also change her appearance, leading to criticism bad enough for Bobbi to respond.
I am so tired of all of the comments of people saying she ruined her face. The only thing I have done to my face is that I have a little bit of filler in my upper lip, okay? I do not have cheek filler.
In a different video, she talked about getting other procedures.
I went in to get my zit injected and I left with Botox in my forehead, which, you know, that's fine, that's normal. I have lines here. I also didn't like that this would create.
This is crazy, y'all, for real. You know, me and my wife talked about it. You know, my wife could probably get some work done too, but my wife said simply that she's just gonna age, you know, gracefully. Age the way that the Lord made her. And it's crazy that nowadays people can get online and talk about this. Like, I'd be embarrassed or ashamed to even talk about doing you know, body modifications. But it's like, that's like the world we live in, y'all. Why can't a woman just age, you know, naturally and, you know, let nature do its course, you know?
So much in my smile, so I got under eye filler. So I got Botox injected right here.
Which perhaps unfairly has only led to even more hate. Her 15 minutes are up. Bye, Bobbi. I am so tired of Bobbi. Get off the internet boring. The last couple of months, however, have been even worse. For starters, the style of the podcast has changed. The dry, sarcastic humor has become normal conversation, and all the awkward, quiet moments are often removed in editing. Strangely, however, this only makes it even more awkward and less entertaining as it feels like any other normal podcast.
Wow, so they're saying that they edit those parts out that are awkward that made her, you know, shine in the beginning, and now it's just a weird pod. Damn.
How old are you? Me, I'm 21.
You're 21?
Yeah.
Oh, you're so young.
I'm a baby still.
Wait, I didn't realize you were so young. I thought we were the same age. Now I feel really old.
How old are you?
I'm 26.
You're not really old.
This entire interview feels like they are making small talk while waiting for something. She'd also do an episode with Dax Flame in which she was way ruder than any other podcast.
What is something fun that makes interviewing someone fun for you?
Just having good conversation.
Okay, yeah, I love good conversation.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't tell.
This genuinely was not even an interview. This was like bullying the nice kid and making him feel horrible in any way. Then 2 months ago, she did this video here, which judging by the dislike ratio was yet another doozy.
And then I saw this video of a girl talking about how much she made from her podcast, and I mentally decided that she made like at least $300 a year on her podcast alone, and I was like, that's what I need to do next. Like, I need a podcast.
I saw how much someone made and thought, that's what I need to do. Wow, what a passionate and inspiring individual. Toward the start of her career, Bobbi joked, not more money though, and that's all that matters in the world.
I ain't gonna lie. Now I look at the numbers myself, and I want to make some moolah. I've been saying it before. I'm a capitalist, but I'm gonna be honest. This is the difference between me and this woman. I never got on social media, and I'm not saying look at me, I'm better than her. I'm just saying in the comparison here. I never got on social media to make money, ever. I got picked out of a political group to push the MAGA. I went viral many times in my city for standing up. Boom, boom, boom. It's just a domino effect. And then they started paying me on Facebook. And they started paying me on YouTube and even Instagram. And that's when I said, ding, I could make some money doing this. And now I try to make some money doing this. And I do make money. But it's very interesting. The first thing she thinks about to making a podcast is making money.
But it seems that's now her actual philosophy.
I didn't grow up with money. I am on a lifelong journey to get money. I love
money's nice.
It's amazing.
Ever since doing the interview, Bobbi's viewership has significantly slowed.
Whoa.
Her reputation is far from perfect, whilst her interview style has simply gone stale.
Okay, and that's basically the video. And right now, let me get back over here. Shout out my boy, Daryl. Her numbers are very good. 1.49 million subscribers. Her last video 5 days ago, 26,000 views. Not too good, but it is what it is. Her last video was Sukiana, and that was an hour and 22-minute video, 500,000 almost views a month ago. A quarter milli with Tusi, whoever that is. She has about, she's doing almost a quarter to half a milli on each one. She has one with Peso Pluma. That's a milli 4 months ago. So she still has good numbers. I don't know really how she fell off. Man, all her pods are over a quarter million. I guess back in the day it was a little bit higher, mostly hitting 9.4. 940,000, 2.7 million, 1.2 million. So I guess her numbers have kind of went down a little bit, but man, these are some pretty good numbers. So fell off, I don't know. People have different definitions of falling off. You see how much time I've been on here. I've already been here too long, right? I try to make YouTube videos and tell me, man, you're going too long. But the point is, people have different definitions of, falling off. We're not always the hottest, right? And even me to a certain degree. I was on, Instagram burning up them numbers, doing big numbers on the lives and everything. And you just go through motions. I mean, it's up and down with content. Sometimes you're hot, sometimes you're not. But from her, channel, I don't think she really fell off. Her numbers might not be as big, but she's at 1.1.5 milli subscribers. And me as a content creator, me as a YouTuber, I know damn well over 1 million subs. That ain't something to shake a stick at, for lack of better words. Is she a plant? I always thought she was. Maybe not a plant full throttle, but she was in there more sneakily than people ever thought, right? Because she had money coming in the game. Her dude probably put the money up. And let's be honest, y'all, for a pod, I would say maybe 10,000. You can get in there with a good setup. I mean, even cheaper, you could probably do for $2,000, right? If you want to be on the low end. You want a high end podcast, you're going to pay about 10,000 starting out. Either way, Bobbi Althoff, y'all, there's a video, the reaction. Let me know what you think in the comments. Is she a plant? Did she fall off? What you think about the way I reacted? Let me know. And with that, I'm out of here. Later.